Minister for Education.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to rise today to speak in support of the motion that notes that 4th of May is International Firefighters Day. The motion goes on to express the gratitude of this House to all of our paid and volunteer firefighters in South Australia for their contribution to the safety of our community. And the motion concludes by remembering the sacrifice of those firefighters who have lost their lives in service of their community. As others have done, I want to reflect on the summer that has just passed, the fires that have ravaged our communities, and the extraordinary contribution that our firefighters, our paid firefighters, our volunteer firefighters, and those farm firefighting units that have supported so many people through our state have made to protecting life, to protecting property in our community, in our state and our nation. There are, of course, many firefighters over the years who have lost their lives in that pursuit. And the fact that our firefighters, whether volunteer or professional, know of the dangers that they go into when they are performing their tasks, the fact that they know that that is the case, I think only goes to underscore the importance, the significance of their contribution. Through the opportunities provided by the House this year, I've already spoken a couple of times about the Cuddly Creek fires, which were so traumatic for so many in my community in the seat of Morialta over the summer. And I believe that there is a motion where I'll have the opportunity to provide a more fulsome description. But I do want to take this opportunity that this motion provides to reflect briefly on our firefighters that we had. There are people who, on the 20th of December last year, woke up in the morning, went to work, whether on their farm or in the city, as our peri-urban area allows them to, and who, through the course of that day, had their lives irrevocably changed. Everyone in the world at the moment, everyone in our state, has had their lives changed to some extent by COVID-19, but the extent of the Cuddly Creek fires, the most significant fire event in that community, really since Ash Wednesday, and certainly for many people in those communities, many young people in our schools, the most significant fire event of their lifetime. I just don't think we can understate the significance of that, and the fact that it's been compounded in the effect that it has had on people by the COVID-19 pandemic can't be understated. There's work that we're doing to support those communities now, but the work that was done in the immediate response by our CFS, our emergency services, and the farm firefighting units was profound. There are people who, to this day, in my community, and the community in the member for Carville's electorate, and at the southern end of the member for Newlands electorate, and the western end of the member for Hammond's electorate, who were impacted by this fire. There are people who, to this day, still have on their front fences, on their letterboxes, signs thanking the CFS for what they did to protect their properties. There are people whose properties were thankfully not affected, but who nevertheless worked their guts out for 36 hours, and then in the weeks following, after they maybe got some sleep, to get on the backs of their farm firefighting utes, to go into harm's way and to protect property and life. One of the most significant stories of many that came out of this was one told to me by a school principal in the Hills who was reflecting on a 10-year-old child who the firefighters, the CFS volunteers, got to the property knowing that the parents were quite concerned that they did not have their child with them, and found their 10-year-old child holding a hose, doing work to protect a shed with firing water at the flames, protecting a shed in the backyard, and the CFS were able to take over, and the child is safe and he's back at school. Those are the sorts of experiences that I didn't have when I was 10 years old, and I suspect not too many in the chamber did, although I recognise particularly the service of people who have been paid firefighters in their past, and indeed those who continue as volunteers in this House. But when, as a 10-year-old, we can only imagine the sorts of memories that will create. I pay credit to all of the young people that fought their fires, that are cadets in our CFS units, and hopefully hopefully the community will continue to, as they have so far, rally around those young people to mitigate the effects of the blazes. The firefighters who put themselves in harm's way protected lives, they protected communities, they deserve our thanks, our credit, our recognition, and after a summer like we've just had, I don't think that there is any member in this House who would doubt the importance of this motion today. I commend it to the House.